Smallness is still on the mind. Smallness is a good time. My neighbor had some little children. And when they sing the dance, that's really admire them. Yes, they're singing. Ring, ching, ching, ching. In a bar. See for mama. The 10 fat chickens. And I should one, and she won't give me one. You see that garden named Dorothy? She fat like a butter, and she muggle like a chow. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing and that's really admire them. What they're singing? On your carpet, you must be like the roses. On your knee, bright and shining, you must be. And show me the one, love the best. When I marry, I give you the ring. First the girl, second the boy. Sunday, Monday, afternoon, we will spend our honeymoon. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Some little children. I'm gonna sing and that's really admire them. Join the singing. Hold my house on fire. You'll not run away. He ran for the police to get the water. He only fire. Now Mr. Lady shoot, shoot, shoot. Mr. Lady shoot, shoot, shoot. And now wipes the lady face. The lady wipes the lady face. And she fell down. And she fell down, and she fell in the ocean too. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Neighbor has some little children. I'm really singing and the dancers really admire them. Hear them singing? Children, children. Yes, mama. Where you been? Grandmama. What she give you? Bread and cheese. Where is mine? On the shelf. How big a get up? Like on a chair. So what's the fun? Beer bad picnic, wicked picnic. Oh, smallness is still on the mind. Smallness is a good time. Neighbor, some little children. I'm really singing on the dusters, really admire them. I'm really singing on the dusters, really admire them. I'm really singing on the dusters, really admire them. JMK, that she take nobody like she. JMK, that she take nobody like she. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. JMK, that she take nobody like she. JMK, that she take nobody like she. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. JMK, that she rocks her body with high. JMK, that she rocks her body with high. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. JMK, that you walk a village with style. JMK, that you walk a village with style. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. JMK, that a village fire run wild. JMK, that a village fire run wild. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. JMK, that she take nobody like she. JMK, that she take nobody like she. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. JMK, that she take nobody like she. JMK, that she take nobody like she. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down. Run a coca down something, rock away, run a coca down.
Long, long time, Jenny girl, I will no go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down. Long, long time, Jenny girl, I will no go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down. Since a point of past, Jenny girl, I will no go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down. Long, long time, Jenny girl, I will no go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down. Since we caught the cane, Jenny girl, I will not go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down. All them buyers say, Jenny girl, I will not go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down. Since I can't been cut, Jenny girl, I will not go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down, Jenny girl, come let me go back down.
Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, gotta gonna rock up your Daimodi, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, gotta gonna rock up your Daimodi.
Oh, not a fork on the table, not a spoon on the table, not a towel to wipe me hand. Gala going to broke up your daimodi.
Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, gotta wanna rock up your Daimodi. Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, gotta wanna rock up your Daimodi.
Not a plate on the table, not a sauce upon the table, not a towel to wipe me hand. Gala going to broke up your daimodi.
Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, gotta gonna rock up your Daimodi. Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, Daimodi, oh Daimodi la, gotta gonna rock up your Daimodi.
Well, come out against all the odds. Many people, many persons, in fact, a few of us will sit down. This afternoon is an afternoon where people want to take the rest. When you have decided and the rest that you're going to take, you're not going to rest, in fact, until the rights are respected in this country. Brothers and sisters, give yourself a round of applause. It is time that we understand that. And it is time that I say, welcome, brothers and sisters, near and far. We are online. We are on a free platform. We are on Village Voice. We are on Ben Scott. We are on Sharon and others. Let me again say welcome, brothers and sisters, near and far. We are stronger together. And those who seek to oppress us, they know this. Today, we are gathered in the hall of the Christian Labor College. Unless we forgot, Newport Nathaniel Critchlow. Yeah, you know the man, go. You know the man. What are you saying is you man too? Let me come back to say to you that Critchlow has done so much for this country. And one of the things that we fought for is one man, one vote. Nobody will take it away. I mean, welcome here. I want to remind them that Critchlow in 1926 stopped the march for one man, one vote, internal self-government. Let us remember that. I hope I let you know what you're doing. And let me say to you that when you want to tell your Critchlow, bequeath us a legacy of struggle. A man considered to be lowly, waterfront worker. Critchlow was not the man in the higher echelon. But I'll tell you this, Critchlow is the man that started trade union movement in the British Empire. That's the big thing of the man. If I don't believe much of you, except no demand question. It is that struggle that united workers to fight for better conditions of labor and standards and improved standard of living. The right to one man, one vote, one man, one vote. The opponents try to write the argument to say, who fight for one man, one vote. It is 1926, and when he did that, Gordon was a toddler, and Chetty was a no start to get what we call a sharp arms. I mean, I let it. Oh, I mean, by it. 1926. I mean, you know, I don't believe in one father the talking what they're supposed to talk about. What are we doing here? And what is being encouraged here is nothing that wasn't done before. No part of the world has anybody achieved anything without a fight or struggle. However, that fight or struggle was defined. Look at India, South Africa, America, and the British colonies. There was resistance to bring about betterment for all the people. And what we really need to do is that we start to be resistant. Yet some people feel that only their fight is just and be seen as a just fight. That only their fight is just and pure, and the fight of others must be taken. Will anybody tell you that when you fight, that your rights do not be transgressed? Right? It is wrong, and you should not do so. When people start to tell you, oh, we must behave, you know what they're doing? They condition your mind to be subjugated. And this is what we have to work and fight against. Yet some people feel, as I said before, that it's only their fight is good and yours is thin. If the struggles of coffee, Accra, Kwamina, Kausila, and the Enro matters that have been enshrined in our national history with pride, which we honor and celebrate, why must others see our peaceful protest, our voices raised in just demand and determination as being unworthy? Why must we accept that? This movement is saying that we will not be accepting anything that is unjust and unfair, meted out against the black, white, green, purple, or brown. We must tell them their history. When they said they are fighting for democracy, look how they invaded this sacred place, a sacred office. Some armed, as seen on video, as they call this struggle just, and they see our voices, our peaceful protest for justice and fair play as undemocratic. Everything they talk about is being seen as being undemocratic. We must tell them about their history as we define ours and continue to pursue demanding what is justly ours. We have to hold hands. We have to demand what is just. Let me tell you this. Don't be able to feed your children You must clear up, and when you don't do that, they now become recalcitrant. They now become hold up for jam street. Is that stand up for what you do? Let me tell you something. This thing is not about only you to do. It's about generations to come. And we have to understand that. Tomorrow is nomination day for local government. Elections scheduled on June 12th. Our ancestors, including Critchlow, who struggled for the right to vote, some died in the struggle for it. I never thought I would see the day when our leaders will tell us not to vote. I stand today in the name of Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow and call on every eligible voter to go and vote, and not only vote. Stand up and protect your vote. Make sure that your vote is called. Make sure that nobody who is not eligible will vote. The right to vote. The right to vote. We must not give up. If I stand today, I'm standing on the shoulders of great men like Critchlow, Eden, Polydor. And if as a trade union says, stand here in the halls of the Critchlow Labour College to tell you don't vote, then you know what I'm doing. I'm applicating my responsibility to the men and women who made it possible for me. Go and vote. Come out the large numbers, carry your children, carry everybody who is eligible, let them vote. The right to vote, we must not give up. We cannot turn over and give up without a struggle. We have to struggle. Every single vote matters. Go and vote. And vote against those who decide that they are going to oppress you. I take this opportunity once again to welcome you, my brothers and sisters. The public continues.
Thank you, Brother Lincoln. Yes, we have to unite against all forms of discrimination. As Lincoln said, go and vote. But I would be more candid and frank. Go and vote APNU. Yes. Down the ballots. Yes. Right. At this time, I would like to invite someone you are very much familiar with. He is an advocate for the vendors and the minivan operators. Ian Watose Andrews.
Good afternoon, comrades. All protocol being observed. It is special observation or mention of my mentor, a kind of father, among other things, Honorable Hamilton Green. Most of what I've learned to do with local government, among other things, I learned from him as a councillor. Now, the Institute for Action Against Democracy has invited you here with a specific focus on vendors' issues. That is what I want to talk about. Now, I would have seen vendors, I would have seen them in the trade, but on the council and being a part of the markets committee, among other committees, I had a chance to look at how these operate. Then I recognized how important they were to our survival, even the council's survival at the time. Because when the big ones and others don't want to pay their rates and taxes, or when the poor people don't pay their house taxes early in the year, to keep the council afloat and to keep the city going, rested on the backs of the vendors. Now, what I recognize also within the council, there were others like me who knew what was going on down there, but they didn't care. They just feel nice their councillors is one, and two, they don't want to mash toes because they were colluding with a lot of corrupt fellas down there. Now, what I learned is that there are a lot of young people. Well, they are traditional vendors, they are traditional stall holders who would have been some persons who were in the 40s and 50s, whose mothers and grandmothers would have been vendors before them. So they're a fixture of the market area. And what you find is that there are other type of vendors who also have stalls, but they do vending outside the market. There are also what you'd call itinerant vendors, vendors who would walk and sell, among other things, and then there are seasonal vendors. And the population, they were about 4,997 in the municipal markets. But 250 vendors, that is in 2020. And I trust it might be near 4,000 now with the amount of people who have lost their jobs, the amount of people who need a chance to survive. It's not an easy thing. But what happened is knowing that these vendors needed help. They needed to work. There were many officers within the council who exploited them. The traditional vendors, they reduce their stalls or else so that they can put a friend in between these persons with the understanding that they must get a weekly something. Even sexual favors, I'm not afraid to say that. You know, they terrorize people. So in the council, I did not go for that. I know my mayor at the time did not go for the kind of thing. And I decided that I was going to look into the vendors issue. I might even have lost my position as a councillor on the council because it was felt that I was allowing the vendors to do what they like. But that wasn't true, you know. One has to remember that a vendor may leave to go at their stall. Their children coming after them. Within the time the children left the school, they have to stop with these persons to have something as a breakfast. They leave and they go to school. When they come from school, many of these vendors' children have to be there late in the night till whenever they go home. They are making a hell of a sacrifice and we need to respect them. What is up? I mean, it isn't happening just with the present government. It would have happened in the other government by like individuals. But then we must own up to it. We must be able to correct it. What we also found is that many stalls in the market were owned. But people, they cannot pay the rates, they have to give somebody else. There are persons who have stalls in the market, but they were told you have to come off the road. And when they go into the market, the spot they had, somebody gave another person the same produce that they were selling, so they're inside there. So they just decided to come out back. And what we did also, and I would like to thank my mayor for that, we decided we were going to demarcate the areas. Let our people know that do not sell outside of these lines, keep your area clean, and we will defend you. Because they're persons and politicians who are looking for every opportunity to do y'all something. Okay. They want, you know what they did? They started breaking down the back of the big market and at some attempted fire and that kind of thing. Because they wanted that spot. Somebody wanted that spot. So they throw people opposite Parliament building in a place that if you sneeze, it floods. So you got these pallet people walking on. Then the man would do the deal with realize he didn't get through with what he asked them for. He don't want them there no more. You move people off the market and you're going to build a kind of shanty town thing. Since we grown up, you know, there's East Bank buses that's run a certain way. They always, you could always go know where the East Bank buses are to build something. The place is a toilet, a robber man place, everything wrong with the place. People move from there. What they were doing, instead of giving the council the money to run its business, because it became political. If I don't get it, it's like a captain on a ship. If he's not a captain, the ship got go down with everybody. That's how they're behaving. So a lot of things would have been done or could have been done, but then you're being starved of funds and then the blame game starts. What I do know at this time is that there is a desire, and I know the businessman, I'm going to call the name if I feel like. The one area, you see, between John Finance coming back right through. See, they're going to build a fire station just there. Some plan that they might drop that down when they get the spot, because they carry the fire station there. But their argument would be that we are going to build a nice shopping mall, and we are going to give the vendors the bottom flat. Y'all believe them?
No.
Y'all ain't going no way.
No way.
Y'all ain't going no way. If, no, not just about holding. When we done build, they will be selective in who go there. You will can't pay them rates.
Yes.
Can't pay them rates. And I know that persons coming to shop in the market with a 20,000 get about $4,000 worth of goods right now. Which means that the vendors are selling less. They're punishing like hell. And I also know that people buy goods at a different rate, different people and all kind of thing. So people have to sell differently. So what I want people to understand is that there was a time when some business people wanted between Boda and Alexander Street. Very powerful selling area. Where 85% of the persons selling there are Indians from my high council. But this man won the spot. And the youth shop people would say that they ain't keeping the place clean. And they want to wash it down, they got to find somewhere else to go. Now these persons got together and we decide we're not moving. And you know, that's where you see unity is strength. It means you all have to stick together. Black man and Kodi man got to stick together. I ain't talking to Indian and African thing, you know. I'm talking to Guyanese stuff. Right? Because a vendor is a vendor. I don't care who they're there. They don't respect vendors. And I don't tell you that there are brighter vendors out there than some people were teaching in school. They're telling you. But they don't have a choice right now. So they're trying their best. We need to create avenues. And that's why I'm saying there were some girls that, you know, they were just from 1920, about 10 of them came to do nails and things. And they had a little stand at this corner. A big place named Blue Wave complained to some of the friends in the council to move these people because they're cutting down Ponday sale. Yeah. And this anger, these people move it to get these youngsters away instead of calling them. Because it has a hygienic thing when you're doing these nails, water and this and that. Let's talk, let's put them somewhere. No! They want to have payment who people get in so they could destroy people. And I'm saying this to you anytime. Y'all ain't giving up no vending here. No way at all. You know what I'm telling y'all? Whenever it comes to that, because they might try a thing, I'm going to be right to the head of y'all. And my mayor is going to be there. Yeah? And we're going to ensure that nobody can lose y'all. Because what we did, I found the union. We have a vendors union. It was formed so that the vendors can have a voice. Right? You have your problem because here what they used to do. We want to talk to vendors today, and everybody got left their stand and they stand up long out there. When you're representing, because you still need to sell. Why everybody must let you out there like you begging? Oh, give me a chance. Now, I don't believe in them. Y'all are a very powerful people. The government may have moved these persons, brought down the house. You notice they ain't coming here, vendors. Something but these people ain't look right. These people ain't look good. They ain't kind of. But the only way you could stay like that, you have to stay together. You have to stay together. Where's God? You have to stay together. So we had a voice. Somebody may have said, we write to them our concerns and so on, so we can discuss it, you know. If it is Upper Reading Street by Douglas, then Douglas said people will come and we will talk. It is this area because each area has a representative and we will talk and get things done. A lot of people like that. You got officers undermining the mayor. Our officers are undermining the mayor. You're writing. Yes, you're writing, and the letters in reaching all these things they're doing. But I want you to know that local government election is coming, yes. The mayor may not be there, but I know, like me, we will always be there with you people. But whosoever go there, you know, watch them closely. Who sit down there, who party, they come, we watching them closely. Because these people pocket full.
Exactly.
They got money. And we watch them. So, but what I want, this is the union has its uniform. May Day is coming, Labor Day, the 1st of May. And I'll ask you, see the color, you may not get insignias on it, but if you can have an olive orange jersey, and even orange cap, we have caps and all of that. But you can just get it. We are going to march on Labor Day. But you see this, the color of people in here, I want to see all the yellow. They must see a when the vendors walk in, they must tremble like leaves. They will tell you, it's the only way I will survive. Well, that's all I ask now. I look forward. Now, in terms of getting involved in the union, they're posted at different places. You ask, who is the person? Get yourself in order. We'll always be there. But y'all must determine your lives. We know among us, there got a lot of recalcitrant persons, a lot of cantankerous. The place there, sir. I'm not selling anything talking to the one. Or if the one get something wrong, I concern like that. You know, it's a bad thing. It's not vending is not easy, so I know it's what to play with. Left y'all alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eon. Leave the vendors alone. Thank you. But I'm going to tell you all something. You know, local government elections is coming. Tomorrow is nomination day. I am a candidate, so expect to see you there. Tomorrow nomination day, put on your green t-shirt and you come out. Right? Good. The next speaker is a member of parliament. He's no stranger to us, and he's going to come and do a presentation on discrimination. As a matter of fact, the theme for this meeting is combating discrimination and oppression. And he's going to come and give his views on discrimination and oppression and how we can combat discrimination and oppression. He's a member of parliament from the Alliance for Change, and so I invite Mr. Ricky Ramsey. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I'm overwhelmed to see so much of you guys here. Never expected. But I see when I was coming in, I want to say first of all, good evening to all of you. When I was coming in, I see the phone, everybody's on the phone. I know somebody's calling somebody. That's how networking is. I want to say good evening also to my fellow colleagues, a member of parliament, and to our mayor, and to my executive on the IAAD. It's a group that was launched in Region 5, and we are pushing this agenda to ensure that we create a balance for all, to ensure that there is no discrimination, or we are pointing out the discrimination where they exist. And I like my brother Andrew, I can stand up and listen to him all night because he understands the real issue. But tonight, my task, I wanted to tell you the importance of you, not me, you. I want to say also a special good evening to our former mayor, Mr. Hamilton Green. Good to have you in our presence, sir. I know you're still here, like my other friend, Mr. Lincoln Lewis, who is also here. They are going to battle for you at the last breath. Look at them. I will tell you that. The last breath. And Lincoln pointed a very nice issue that the struggle always continues. And I want you have an opportunity now to compare our government from this government. Because you had it for 23 years and do nothing for you.
All right then.
Nothing for you.
All right then.
But all of a sudden, when we took over in the 5 years, it was a hard task for us. And I say 3 years, because after the governance motion, we could have not done anything much as we could do. And vending doesn't have, you said coolie and blah, right? Because when I came in here, somebody was asking me, who am I? Well, I'm a little coolie guy too. And I grew up on the East Coast, and I know what is poverty. I know what is salt and rice. I know what is patching your parents to go to school. I know what is, the butter boots. Just laughing too. And I know where to stitch it back. So I go there, I've been there. And that's where I came from. And that's why my role as a parliamentarian is always, up to this morning, my priest we had a conversation. He was telling me, let me keep my fight. And my fight is to always ensure that the poverty level in Guyana is either eliminated or better. Because if you look at our records, there are about 50% almost our people are down the poverty line. Despite all the oil and gas that we give these people. Despite everyone we have given them a big sector. But today, I would like to speak to you about the importance of vending and what it means to us and Guyana. Vendors are an integral part of our economy. You get me? You are an integral part of our economy. You provide goods and services that are essential to many people in our communities. However, despite their importance, many vendors in Guyana face significant challenges that prevent you from reaching your full potential. One of the main challenges that vendors face is a lack of access to resources. Tell me that is not so. Many vendors operate in an informal market and do not have access to financial resources or formal training programs that could help you grow your business. This is what we are lacking. As a result, the struggle to compete with larger businesses will result in earning very low income, and that is what Mr. Andrews was saying. The other big businesses want to compete with you when they're trying to take away your spot. Right? Another challenge the vendors face is a lack of legal recognition. Many vendors operate without a proper license or permit, which puts you at the risk of being fined or having your goods seized if this is the case. This lack of legal recognition also means that vendors are excluded from many government programs that could help you improve your businesses. And I want you to understand that, because I don't know how many you have to have license, you have to get through the mayor or city council, but it's important. But sometimes, when you go and hustle, you just go and do your thing, you want to sit down and you want to make your hustle. Furthermore, vendors often face harassment and mistreatment from the police and other authorities. You are frequently subject to arbitrary fines, harassment, and even physical abuse. This kind of treatment is unacceptable and needs to stop. I recall those vendors who were in front of the hospital. You remember when the mayor come and stand up and he lay down on the road? Yeah. And I'm going to tell you a secret about him. Because of his fight for you and fight for the people in Georgetown, he's now invited to go to Kenya for the presentation. Because, you know what? He didn't see color. He see you as you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you must support him. You must support our colleagues who are fighting for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to divert a bit from my thing here. The last press conference held by the Vice President stated he's asking you to support him to take over Georgetown, Amsterdam, Linden, and all of our strongholds he wants to take over. I don't go mad. Thank you very much. Do you know what happens when, do you know what will happen to us if that happens? Do you know? It becomes, the dictatorship starts here. It becomes worse than that. You understand? We must keep the fight and fight as hard as we can. They don't come and shake your hand in the market and hold your hand and so on. When they got home, forget about you. But as my chairman said, that I want to show you a bit of discrimination against vendors. And I live on the East Coast. So let us look at East Coast tomorrow, specifically at Monaco. And I want to put two issues here. One, the treatment of vendors in Monaco by the current government as those in Golden Grove. And you recall to the protests that we had on the East Coast. When, it's a very strange thing that the protesters were moved from Golden Grove and gone all the way to Boston and passed all the police stations and could never stop them, about 4 police stations. But it stopped at Monaco and they had to come from Beefy to go to Monaco. This, you see what's happening? You see how we can be used? As soon as they shout out in Monaco, now we can vote for you no more, they rush down.
Yeah.
Tell me that is not so.
Yes.
They rush down. But nobody went to Golden Grove after 2 days or 3 days to find out those who suffered. Those at Monaco received millions of dollars. There were videos circulating on the media, social media, that they were trying to board their own style, break it up.
Yeah.
We all see it.
Yeah.
Looking for social media. I must watch it.
Let me see it. Read it.
Even hard. A little pandit man. It's alright, and I'm not discriminating against him. But it's carrying a little bump or dent or some windscreen break. And received $6 million.
Wow.
I remember we used to talk about the expensive Polari and so on. Right? How about the issues?
Yeah.
But when you got flooded, as Mr. Andrews pointed, when you got flooded in Georgetown, and even to the pandemic that y'all went through, what y'all get? You see what I'm talking about, the discrimination? I know it's still waiting for the pink list. Second issue I want to point out too. You see in Monaco, there's a brand new market structure going on. What happened to Plaisance? What happened to Golden Grove? Huh? How can you? So vending is not only happening in Monaco. We have Plaisance, where all sort of people going there. A lot of Indians and Africans are mixing together there, but they're people need proper things to do the vending, to do the market, the selling, and so on. But no, it's the vote. Always remember that, it's the vote. I want to touch on the second major one on the roadside vending. I don't know if you recall, when we were in government, you ever hear to say that we are running planted factory and dog food business? What happened today? Things tight. Every single community on that East Coast, people are vending on the main road. And it doesn't, and I'm not discriminating, it's not discriminated because Indians and Africans both are selling dog foods and both are selling the stands.
That's right.
Things tight. But somebody said they're bringing a bottle of Bora for me. Just think tight. Anybody bring the Bora? You see, and they're not only selling the dog food now, those stalls and so on, but they're selling food for people. Because everybody now has to get up and hustle. As I told you before, almost 50% of the people living here now in Guyana are below the poverty level. So you have to do it. I don't know if y'all saw the popular video with the young lady that came overseas. Yeah, y'all see that? See, y'all watching social media, where she's saying that she wants the president and the vice president to use $60,000, go to the supermarket and pay the rent. These are little things, people will talk. And let me tell you something, the discriminating practice. When people talking, they coming after you. They went after Red Thread. The people want to put together protests against them every month I heard by the office of president. right? They go after them. They go after our friend Mike McCormack, who is the human rights. Every single person stand up, they're going to go after them. They're going to go after the APA, say the APA is political. This is the American People Association. Because the people are fighting for their rights.
Right.
Not because they fight for the rights mean they're political. You know what I mean? Every single person that stand up to fight for their rights, and you must not be fear. Just like me, I'm fearless. Just like the pandit, he's fearless. We all are fearless. But we, this group that we formed here, the IAD, we are not going to give up. We are going to push every single region, every single sector community we are going to touch to ensure that the discrimination are being pointed out and be highlighted. So what can we do to support vendors in Ghana? Because all I wanted to do in my speech also is not only telling you all the issues, but what needs to be done and what we will be doing. Firstly, we need to create more formal opportunities for vendors to access financial resources and training program. Remember, we had a Small Business Bureau. You know, I got to tell a story before I move further. At Hassan and East Coast, every Easter I go to a specific stand and I purchase my kite. And I tell the lady, you know, say, you know, last year was here. She said, really? So I was really curious to know what our investment was because of the kites and the polythene twine and all this and so on. She said, sorry, it's like about 350,000. Small Business Bureau. I said, do you know that those little businesses can be supported by the Small Business Bureau as a grant to help support? She was pregnant and she was hustling. Right? This is what financial resources is important for you. And not only providing financial resources, but the training, how to do it better, how you make a profit, how do you manage a profit, how do you expand, how do you do the right thing, like my brother Andrew was saying, you know, ensure that you clean the places, because you got to welcome people. People are foreign come because they want to go through the market, they want to drink the water coconut, they want to drink the water coconut. You have to protect them also, because there are elements among you. There are elements among you who will come to spoil you. And they will send people to do that so they can move you away. They will say that this party is okay because it's bad. So you got to watch that. Secondly, we need to work towards a legal recognition for vendors. This could involve simplifying the licensing process, reduce the fees, and creating a more streamlined regulatory framework. That's what I asked Brother Andrews. If you have a database of all the vendors, from that, that's how we begin. So that you're able to, you know, that when you want to do a program like this, they've all been recorded. And lastly, we need to ensure that vendors are treated with respect and dignity that they deserve. This means that putting an end to harassment, abuse by authority, and create a more supportive environment for vendors for you to operate in. That is what we need to do. Not come in every day and say, you know, they come with a bulldozer. You know, they love to come with a bulldozer these days, an excavator. Yeah, that is the top of the line business. In conclusion, the vendors, you guys, plays a very important role in our economy. Do you know how much cash you're turning over physically every single day? This is what turns an economy, small businesses. This is what's America, this was what Obama was focusing on, small businesses. Medium-sized business, not the big business who always say, oh God, we broke. I hear my brother talking about how much money they owe, and the backs of the vendors have to pay for some of the things to be done. We need to have a list of that, and we can compare. We can compare the vendor, how are they paying, and compare the big business, what they're paying and what they owe. That is something that we need to do. And we put it out in the public, so they will understand our position, your position, and their position, and their contribution towards Georgetown. Friends, you know, I'm really delighted to talk with you tonight, and you know, I was hoping that we can do more of this. You will see me sometimes at the People's Parliament, at the Stockbrook Market Square, talking to you, telling you a bit of what our political thing. But this one here is that we are really focusing on is to have you understand your role, your responsibility, and the importance of you and the choices that you have to make. Don't give up the fight. Don't give up the fight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Ricky. Comrades, don't give up the fight. You know, pretty often when we refer to the gentleman on my left, we often forget that he was the Prime Minister of Guyana. And I think that the most important contribution Mr. Hamilton Green would have made is during the period when he served on the executive branch of government in Guyana. He served in various ministries, and finally he served as Prime Minister. I think for the younger people inside there, all they know is Mayor Green, but he was Prime Minister. And so without further ado, I will not ask him to stand, but I will give him 10 minutes to give you some word of encouragement. Sir, you will be standing? I'll come with you standing. And give yourself a round of applause. Comrades, I want to compliment my good fellow Butusi for organizing this event. I'm glad that Leon Saul wanted me to sit. But he doesn't realize that my half and half wife has kept me standing. Half Indian, half African. Because we are met in serious times. And my message to you is simple. Stand firm. My good friend Tusi alluded to the importance of unity. I was speaking about 2 hours ago to a man who is thousands of miles away. And he emphasized the need, if we are to remove an evil government, for us to be united. I want to share with you an anecdote I first used in the troublous times when my wife was not yet born. It's the story of a cabbie and his boss traveling through the forest. And the cabbie was very good with the bullwhip. And the boss would show off his expertise to his friends and say, James, kill that butterfly, kill that mosquito, kill that insect. And James would take his bullet, bop, bop, bop. Very accurate, like a gun. So one day he told him, James, pick up that insect to show my friend how good you are with the bullet. And James pretended he didn't hear. So the boss said, James, you didn't hear me? James didn't answer. So the boss getting vexed. He said, James, I told you to pick up that insect with the bullet to show my friend how good you are. And James said, boss, I heard you the first time. I heard you the first time. But you see that insect there? There is Maraponte. And there is organized. You get the message? Yes! We must be like the Maraponte. Organized. So they know they must touch you
at their own peril. We are in a country today where they're translating democracy in a new way. Demons gone crazy. That is what we are facing in this country. And I'm glad that previous speakers before me emphasized this is not a question of Afro or Indo-Guyanese or Kuliman or black man or whatever. This is a matter of a class structure being developed where friends, family, and favorites are getting the hug of this oil resource. And you out there will know that Professor Akbar came to this country, and I sat down with him for hours. And among the things we agreed was to demarcate the city so that vendors can operate with honor, dignity, and most of all, in the report he made to the PP government, which they ignored, was to become a tourist attraction instead of treating you like third-class citizens. What we need to do today is to learn from sessions such as this, to educate, share information, so that we have that knowledge to agitate, so that we can be truly liberated. We're not liberated yet, you know. We are still in the cocoon of the colonial system. And these most honorable gentlemen, and they can lock me up, because I'm referring to His Excellency the President, his vice. I didn't say vice. Vice. When I went to school, vice had a particular meaning. His vice president and his other members of the ruling elite. They have learned. And what we see, in spite of all those nice words, and let me tell you something. This is Ramadan. And Dr. Ali sung nice, you know. Oh, yes. But the majority of you ladies are here. And I want my wife here this part. And them boys who come on the song nice, but the intentions aren't nice. So don't be caught up. Don't be fascinated by nice words. Most of all, don't do as happened in the Bible. Sell your birthright. You always go to church. I met a certain comrade at a certain funeral on the East Coast today Sunday last week. And that person told me they want to go over to the PPP. Jesus. I said to them, I wouldn't prize.
You just did it.
But I'd be disappointed. I hope the person understood the nuances in the language I used. You see, throughout history and throughout Africa and India, the white massa, and these boys have learned from the white massa, have learned the technology of divide and rule. And you who have worked so hard, some days I go down reading the streets and I see comrades wrapping up them goods look like beasts of burden to carry it home. I say, by God, what has happened to the report that Professor Khan and I agreed on? But you were a strong people, you know. And the majority of your women here,
Yes.
I can't see good.
Yeah.
The majority of women?
Yes.
Well, the strongest people in this world are women.
Yes.
And the men who don't understand stupidity. But what you see is organizing something for your benefit. I want you to spread the word that this is the beginning of a long road to victory. So that we can be liberated. Those fellas want to insult us. Can't call names yet.
Never.
They got no prison can wound. They want to control everything in this country.
Yes.
And if you read an article I published in the paper, I think last week,
So the father of the nation.
I made a comparison between Guyana, Kuwait, and Libya. I didn't name the two ministers in my letter, but Burnham sent Gavin Kennard and Hamilton Green to Libya in 1983 to see how they were spending this oil money. The oil money that Libya was getting then is the same as we are getting today. But we are 800,000 people, less than 1 million.
Yes.
Libya was 6 million. You're following the extrapolation? In Libya today, you won't have to let children come to find little buns for breakfast for them. Breakfast is free for every school child. Education is completely free. And that's what the master blaster, Lyndon Fox Sampson Burnham, wanted for this country. But those who understand what is happening don't want to call his name. But I said to a top man, all you have to do is put in place his programs and you can't go wrong. Free education, a good health service, sport, and when you build a house, it mustn't twist up. And if they did that, Burnham had the most respected foreign service in the region. Today we have certain honorable gentlemen whose highest qualification is to curse an Indian woman in New Delhi at his official residence. And we have our leaders here who said they didn't know the story.
So imagine that.
They had a calypso here live. That is that. Comrades, I am not down to speak. But when I speak to you again, I'm going to tell you a little story. That's half and half I talk about. That double lady. I don't see good, but she be moving her hand, but she knows to tell me shut your mouth. And if I want to go home and have a good night's rest, I must obey what she said. Keep up the struggle. Yes, sir. You have good men working with you here. Lincoln Lewis, Otusi, Saul. Serve them, work with them, so that when this oil bonanza comes out, you will have an opportunity to convert your vending into dignified profit-making exercise, so that tomorrow your children and my children will have the benefits of what God gave us. Whether you believe in God or not, I stop by reminding you. Tell me why stop for us. Yeah, let's talk to see it. That we have no natural disasters, no monsoons, no hurricanes, no floods. The only disasters we have, PPP. Somebody Alibaba. God bless you all. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you, Mr. Green.
Sir.
Yes. Okay, sit down. This is all right. You have proposed to build a mall at Merriman years ago as a mayor. What happened to that proposal?
All those things require ministerial permission. I don't want to go into details, but Obrad will know. I've sent him some information. All the recommendations from Professor Akbar Khan, who came to this country to do what is called the Greater Georgetown Development Plan, those things are included. I don't want to spend time. It included a special place to.
Was it just shelved? Did you shelve that proposal?
What?
Was it just put in a corner?
No, the ministerial approval is
It entered the corner, it disappeared because they don't want any PNC mayor of Georgia local is as bold as that.
Exactly. You know that?
When I took office, and you all have heard this story 1,000 times, the previous PPIMC said you couldn't manage Georgetown with the taxes that you got. We needed additional sources of revenue.
The Lato you offered it.
When I became mayor, I introduced the Lato. That same gentleman, who I describe as his master's voice, wrote a long letter defending the sale of the Marriott. I want to see how privately going to tell the whole story. Said the PP couldn't agree to a lottery because the churches and the mosques and the temples will be up in arms. Within a few months, the lottery was up and running, and the council got not to sell. The same man they want to sell. When I asked him for the money for the local swimming pool, named after former mayor, I get dumbness. Come, this is not my meeting. I want to go home.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think the Mr. Green session was very informative, and we should give him another round. You know, we have to value our senior citizen, and we can be ungrateful to Mr. Green and his contribution to the development of this country and Georgetown. And even as we approach another local government election, and we will take the city again, we have to. Right. We can, we must, and we will. And I want to tell you something too. And we have to relook at the Greater Georgetown Development Plan. What is going on in this city is chaos. It is shambolic. And we have to put pressure on the government.
Yeah.
And if we can get a central government that will agree with our position, it means that we will have to work harder to ensure that not only we maintain the municipal government, but come 2025, we take the central government back. And we ensure that the wealth is equitably distributed, that oil wealth.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess most of you know. Recently, in the paper, they were commenting on the state of Guyana's economy, right? We borrow too much. And so I don't see no improvement coming to the ordinary citizen in this country. We cannot eat road and bridges. Development should be balanced. When I came in here, or sometime this afternoon, as I was outside here, I saw someone, a beautiful woman, and I wonder who was this person, you know. And I was asking myself, who is this person? And so I will invite that person to the podium. She's a member of parliament. She's Mrs. Tabitha Sarabuali. To the podium. Yeah. Look at her now.
Good evening. Good evening, all. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. It's kind of hard to go after former Prime Minister, Mayor Hamilton Green, but I will try. I am very happy to be here, especially with the launch that took place in Region 5 of the IAAD. I think what Guyana needs, and right now, is what is taking place in this room and took place in Region 5 and in Golden Grove. You see, there's a place for political parties, but then there's a place for civil society and groups and organizations to come together to speak out against what is happening in this country. Because if a political party is saying it could be just swept aside as only have to be in opposition to everything. But when the ordinary Guyanese citizens come together and decide, you know what, we've had enough, but what we're dealing with, we don't want to deal with anymore, and we will rise up and speak up against it, I think that is where things will change. And so I would like to commend you for coming here this evening in your numbers and to sit here and to listen, but not only to listen, but to join arms and hands with what is happening in the IAAD, to show to the Guyanese society and the world that we've had enough of discrimination and that we're ready to come together, rally together to fight against any discrimination that happens in the length and breadth of this country. So give your self a hand. You see, discrimination takes many forms. And as Colonel Green said, there's a lot of women in the room. And yes, we're dealing with vendors this evening. Discrimination takes many forms. But what kind of happens, especially in society like ours, is that we say and we talk a lot about what is happening, but we don't find the time to sit down and write it and put it together so we can have an actual evidence and database as to how discrimination is impacting our lives. And the impact is having not only on us, but our children and our community. Because we say it a lot. You know, we say this happened yesterday, this happened last year. But what we need is to be able to write it down, be able to report it in such a way that when you put a paper down, this is the type of discrimination that we're facing as women, as vendors, as men, as, you know, whatever group you may find yourself in that you believe that you're being discriminated. And so I think this is important. I would like to urge you here and those online to follow what IAAD is doing, to come on board, to join with them, because I think we have to raise our voices collectively, raise our voices individually and collectively, and say that enough is enough, and we will stand for it no longer. I will be short because I wasn't prepared to speak, but I came here this afternoon not knowing what to expect. And to see your faces here gives me hope. It gives me hope that we are not silent in what is happening, that we are not going to sit by and allow everybody to roll over us, but that we're ready to stand up, we're ready and prepared to stand up and fight for our rights. We're ready and prepared to stand up for what is right, and we will do what is necessary to ensure that we have equal share and equitable share in everything that is happening in this country. We will not be left behind. We should not be left behind. And I commend you. I beg of you, do not stop in this room. Continue to push. Continue to go with the union. I know Brother Andrews was talking about the vendors union. If you're not a part of it, join it. I beg of you to join it because the union is important. There's a place for the union. As much as we want to say that they don't do this for us and not with the union, there's so much strength when we organize. And I think we don't always understand the strength in unity, the strength in organization. Yes, there's a political party has a role, but the union has its role, the IAAD has its role, and we need to work together to accomplish all that we know that we can accomplish as a unit. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. We are moving on. Our next speaker, he was, I think, and he still holds that record as the youngest minister ever served any government of Guyana. I don't see him around here. Oh, sorry, he's among us. And he will be doing a 10-minute presentation on the United Nations Sustainable Goals, those same goals that I mentioned before, because we believe it's important if we are to achieve those goals, the whole issue of discrimination would be addressed. At this moment, I welcome to the podium Dr. Simpson Perry De Silva.
Thank you very much, Council. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Special evening to our former Prime Minister and colleague way back in the 80s in the government of Lyndon Forbes Sampson Barnum. It was a pleasure working with those folks. But I would like to go straight into the subject at hand this evening because of time. I must say that this evening we have created a worldwide historic moment. I don't think that in any part of the world you have had people of African descent, Indian descent, Portuguese descent, coming together to address the issues of the Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2030. It is historic because I would like to challenge you this evening to make sure that we reach out, because one of the missions of the Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals plus the Low Carbon Development Strategy is to reach out to those farthest behind, the ones who are left behind, and deal with them first. So I'd like to challenge us to that what we call or put in place starting immediately. And that would be, as long as you agree to that, then it becomes. And I would like to call it the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development of Vendors in Guyana. As long as you agree to that, you automatically must be dealt with equally at the table. In other words, you are not just merely what people think you are and what some of us think we are. We are, and I include myself because I vend in the city also. We are micro entrepreneurs. Effective immediately, make sure you attach yourself to that title. You're micro business people. Some of you are small business owners. So it's micro, small, and probably some are medium. But let's focus on the micro and the small and see yourselves as very, very powerful arm of the economy. And we're talking about the oil and gas economy. We're talking about a circular economy. We're talking about the fastest growing economy in the world. You must be part of that equation. So we must talk. That's part of the conversation. But at the same time, we must take massive action. So that action begins immediately. So it's not necessarily, as some people call it, a talk shop. It's an action shop. So effective immediately, you must join the mission of small business owners, vendors, and the sustainable development goals. Fortunately, I am one of the champions of sustainable development goals, not only in Guyana, across the Caribbean, and across the world. So as long as you agree to that, you automatically will have all my network, all the network of the Prime Minister, all the network of the current mayor, of Lincoln Lewis, all of those who have very rich network, and I would venture to say the network of the President of Guyana, the Vice Presidents of Guyana, the parliamentarians of Guyana. They are part of your team. But if you do not recognize it like that, it would never become a reality. So one, we'll talk. Two, we take massive action. And three, we solve problems within our space. I'll give you an example of one of the problems we can solve. I myself at one time was the chief food and nutrition protection officer in Ghana in 1983, working with the Ministry of Health. I'm a doctor in veterinary medicine also, but I did a lot of work in health. And I used to be having workshops, lectures in the market for vendors. So I am volunteering effective immediately to have sessions with you guys, starting immediately whenever you would like to have that. I think that deserves a nice little round of applause for you guys. Because you would be making history. History in that I would link you immediately, or you are linked. I don't have to do it, you are linked to the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2030, and the whole greening of the economy. One other thing I would like to challenge you to do, because I have many friends who are connected to different places. I personally feel that you deserve to recognize your rights. You have a lot of rights. The last time I checked with the UN, Universal Human Rights, there are 30 rights that you have as human beings. That came into being in 1948 after the Second World War, and it was to protect human beings. And I would like to say to you that the whole business of slavery is an unfinished business. The legacy of slavery is an unfinished business. The legacy of the slave trade is an unfinished business. We have some rich heritage, but are we using our heritage? Are we making use effectively of our legacy, our ancestral lands? Right now, I know in many parts of Guyana, they're trying to take our ancestral lands. And we must make sure that it doesn't happen. We must stand up and be silent no more. We must go into the streets, into the roads, into the villages, in our homes, and do what is absolutely necessary to protect our legacy, to protect our heritage, to make sure that we advance for prosperity. We have the right to prosper, the right to food and nutrition security, the right to quality education, the right to good sanitation and health and well-being, the right to clear water, the right to equality, the right to a whole host of other things that I've mentioned. But be prepared to learn. I am prepared to teach. Many of the speakers before me, I heard them saying precisely that. So I beg of you, let us be part of this glorious revolution. Let us join the energy of our ancestors and make sure we create a future for the benefit and prosperity of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Simpson. We are winding down. We only have two other speakers. At this moment, I would like to invite the Mayor of Georgetown, His Worship, Mayor Obrad Narayan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A pleasant good evening, everyone. My respect to the senior former Prime Minister and Mayor of the city of Georgetown, Hamilton Green, a man who stood by my side and held my hand and walked with me. Thank you, sir. The IAAD are moving around the country to listen to different issues of discrimination. And this afternoon, listening to the vendors issue is very important. I have received many calls from vendors who echo their voice, what will happen with them. But I want to let you know, vendors has power in the city.
Yes, sir.
And the power that you have, you fail to recognize it. Many times of dealing with issues in the city. You will come to me on issues, I will try my best to solve it. But I want to let you know, united we stand, divided we fall. I want that to echo with you. The reason why I make such a phrase is that you must love your neighbor who is standing next to you, because that person as well wants to earn a living just like you. We must stop this nonsense. We must stop this nonsense, because your bread and butter is important. I was chastised many times for you, the vendors. I was criticized. I was placed on bail, placed before the court, because I stood up for you, the vendors. And I'm willing to do it again. I'm willing to throw myself again in front of any vehicle or anyone who come to obstruct your daily life. Let me tell you something. Many of them who are in government do not know what is struggle out there. And when I took the office of the mayor, I vowed to protect you, the people, the rich, the middle class, and the poor. And whenever there's a call, I will be there. And I have found that vendors was very important in the city, because there are many people who get laid off of their jobs. There are many people who deprive to sell their loads who come in from Barbies, Canal, West Coast, deprived to sell their vegetables in a proper state. I stood by them. They know what the struggle is. We have single mother out there, we have single father out there who are struggling for a daily bread, to send them children to school, to pay their light bills, their water bills, the cost of living that is going up every god day. We don't have it easy out there. And I want you to remember that cash grant was given out for COVID, flood relief, fisherman cash grant. And when I made a call on this government to give vendors a cash grant, they refused to do so. I want to let you know that along the turn where Zero Bank and Water Street, from the fire station down, the Minister of Home Affairs called me and said that he will remove all the vendors. And I said to him in this echo, try it. I said to him to try it. Because the vendors out there must earn a living. Whether you are Afro-Guyanese, whether you are Indian Guyanese, whether you are Portuguese, whether you are Amerindian, whatever ethnicity you is, you have the right to vend. Because if the government was producing proper sanitation and give you proper job, you're able to fend for your family. Many of you don't want to be out there, I know of. But what are you going to do? I met a young lady on the seawall who has 8 subjects, grade 1, 2, and 3, and she pushing a cart selling lights. What a shame. What a shame. These are things we need to address. And if we don't address it, you will leave the people to go and set up a table and do some vending. Yeah. Let me tell you something. The echo out there is why I am not returning to office. Whether I am in office or not, I vow to you, the people of Georgetown will have my support 100% still. Who will be the next mayor? I, as a former mayor, will have close eyes, and I will not hesitate to pen letters in the paper and to join with the union. Get yourself involved in the union and other trade unionists to fight for vendors' right in the city. I want to say to you that get yourself in committees so that you can have a more heavy voice, that we can able to protect vending. I agree that we need to be neat, clean, and organized. And that is something I've been working on since I took office. But some of you are isn't. Yeah, I want to start it like this. We are here. I want you to stop having this shabby looking shed and this table and all these pallets. I want you to have a decent, nice table with a nice umbrella to attract your customers. Clean your surrounding environment. Keep it tidy. Because bear in mind, the PPP want to remove vendors in the city. They have done it. The honorable minister, I don't think even I should call him honorable. For minister of public works, what they do? Have no fear of calling his name.
Disgrace.
He took it on himself, his ministry, and went
Dog food vendors.
at before public hospital, we can recall incident I've been through, to remove those vendors. Today, those people is all over the place. And said to them that to retrieve the carbon, you must pay $60,000 Ghana dollars. What a shame! $60,000 Ghana dollars you must pay to the ministry to retrieve your carbon. While a minister's salary is over $1 million Ghana dollars. You must know these things. A minister's salary is over $1 million Ghana dollars, while you're struggling out there to make a $5,000 to go home and buy food for your children. Many of them know the stories. They don't know the pain. Your minister will pause in front of minibus to just get a 40 shot and said he cared for the people. That is not caring for the people. You know what is caring for the people? When you understand how they're living.
Yes, yes.
When you understand they cry. When you understand they have to leave their home 1 o'clock in the morning and drove to the city and park to sell the road. These are policies the Minister of Local Government should table in Parliament before he wanted to go Stockbrook and all the markets to do nonsense. That is the municipality work. That is not the minister work. And if we had received our rightful subvention from government, we were able to do all of that. But they deprive the city. They stagnate the city. They cut the arms and the legs of the city. They take control of the administration of the city. Just because they know that they have a competent mayor and councillors of the city of Georgetown. They want us to look bad in your eyes. So he decided to go and said, look, we're going to take over the markets. I want to remind the Honorable Minister tonight that letters were sent to him in 2019 and 2020 about the same very market condition. And I asked that let us meet and set aside a sum in the budget for those markets. What a lie he peddled in the media and the public domain. My friends, my family, my heart bleeds. I wish if I can continue more, but I want to let you know that I, Raj Narayan, will stand by your side whether in office or not. I will work with you. I will work with you. Because let me tell you, it is not easy out there. One mother cried to me, she could send her son to UG, and that is the only way she can able to make $1 to send her son to UG. And Edgel whooped up the carbon and dismantled it. What a shame. What a shame. And let me tell you something. I heard the vice president make mention that they want to take over the city. Well, if you allow that, you can't eat your dinner. If you all think this thing is wrong, this thing is not about This thing is not about a story, you know. This is real. There's a Venice meeting. I know some of you may be supporter of the government, supporter of the opposition. What this thing is to deal with your life, your future. PPP would not hesitate to bulldoze you out. They would not hesitate. Y'all remember when Ben was Minister of Public Works? He was the hammer and dropped down the market. Y'all remember those things? It will happen again. Y'all better don't let them take the city. I want to encourage you to go out on the 12th of June and vote, especially in the city of Georgetown, for APNU. At the top and the bottom. So that the APNU will be in the city of the council. And I will stand by your side. Let us not think that this is going to be an easy road. I had to stood up recently at a meeting where they said that vendors in crouching on the Water Street, America Street, come back here, and so on. I said, yeah, I would not move them. Rob Street, they want to place the view from Alexander Street to Border Street, back on the Merriman's Mall. I said those people would not get business. So excuse me, we put them back there on Merriman's Mall, and if you don't have proper facility, they will not get business. Let us modernize the system. Let us see to work with them. Let us see how we can able to give them our support from both the council and the government. And to date, we never got nothing. Right? We still await. So I'm waiting for the campaign start, the local government. I will tell you that I will not take it easy when it comes to the bread and butter of the vendors. The vendors, I submitted a proposal in 2019 to the then government. We have no confidence pass, and then the PP took office. And you must know these things because I know the VP will go rebut me and say that you're going to build this and build that. So y'all, I propose to this government to a redevelopment plan for Starbuck Market, to have the vendors placed in a proper environment. It is there on the Google. You can Google it. Redevelopment plan for Starbuck. You will see the whole video. They rejected it. They rejected it. For them, vendors mean nothing. They mean nothing. But I will tell you a little secret. While they want to chastise you, they just called me and said, Mayor, we won't put this body here and this body here and that body here. Put your own people. So that's why I make mention we have supporters from both sides here tonight. Right? So know what you are doing. I'm not persuading anyone in any direction, but I'm persuading you this evening to vote for APNU at the local government election so that we can continue the work in the city and continue to protect you, the people. You, the vendors. It's not an easy task. I thank you very much for coming this evening. And may God bless you all the time. And your mayor willing to throw himself again. Again. I thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to reinforce that come June the 16th, you know all you have to do.
12.
Sorry, the 12th. Because when you turn up the 16th, the ballot already cast, right? Anyhow, I will now invite the champion of IAAD, Mr. Attorney at Law, Roysdale Ford. He is the person that championed the work of IAAD. And he's going to come and do a presentation. And in keeping with the theme of today's meeting, Mr. Roysdale Ford.
Good evening, comrades. Good evening, Chairman Saul. Good evening, Mr. Green, former Prime Minister, and almost the whole of every office in our party, People's National Congress Reform. Good evening, Mrs. Green. And good evening to those listening on social media and on the various platforms. I stand here with you in solidarity and in deep concern about your daily struggles. I stand here as a fellow Guyanese, a son, a brother, and a friend to many of you. And I stand here as a partner in this struggle, in our struggle, identifying with you, for the pain of one must be the pain of all. And the injustices meted out against all of you or one of you must be the injustices meted out against all of us. And I say to you, whatever opportunity presents itself to us, we are in this thing together. And we must make the most of it, because united we stand and divided we fall. Our motto was aim to promote and build one people, one nation, and one destiny. Where our brothers and sisters in this beautiful country of ours are divided, where communities are divided, where they live in fear, and opportunities are presented to only a few, we must rise. We must rise because it is rightly ours, and what is ours is justice, equality, good governance, and equity in the distribution of resources. It does not matter your class, your race, or your political association. It does not matter which group you belong to. You are no less entitled to equal treatment. And vendors themselves are no less entitled. And we must rise and speak with one accord. The street vendors are of us. They are among us and are part of the entrepreneurial class. They are small businesses, and managing a business, irrespective of size, entails some degree of ingenuity and commitment. Vendors are society's contributors, and they are not a nuisance. Yet they continue to live in fear of the central government, of the People's Progressive Party, continuously overriding local authorities that are responsible for vending. As they keep an eye on their stalls and they serve their customers, their eyes and ears are always alert for the news that their livelihood could be interrupted again once again. I observe that vending is a difficult industry. And to begin with, and now this is more rendered difficult because you constantly live and operate under threat. As of late, vendors ply their trade under great stress and trauma. Even as the central government, the People's Progressive Party, seeks to undermine the democratic order of this society, they have no plans and no programs in place, including access to economic resources for the vendors, for you, to own businesses. The PPP, as the central government, has repeatedly said that vendors must get off the streets, but they failed to provide us with any plans that they have in place for persons to access small loans, to own and operate a business. They just simply want you off the streets. They see you, they see vending, they see vendors as unnecessary. But I say to you that you are necessary and you are a vital part of our society. You are the entry-level persons who operate in commerce and self-sufficiency. We remember only too well the efforts and the opportunities taken by the People's Progressive Party last December to unceremoniously remove you from among the Georgetown area of the Georgetown Public Hospital, where Mayor Ubrecht Lorraine places life on the line to defend the city bylaws and the vendors' right to eke out a living. In what was among one of the worst moments in recent history, the Member of Parliament, the Mayor, Cheryl Duncan, here with us this evening, were charged for standing in solidarity with you and standing in solidarity with the vendors. They continue to fail to recognize that the vendors provide a service to visitors, the patients, and staff of the hospital. The fact that they have a regular flow of customers is evident that they recognize that they're meeting a need for service in that area. What the PPP should have done is to work with the mayor and city council to find ways and means to accommodate them, such as movable stalls. As a fellow citizen and as an attorney at law representing Mr. Narayan, the mayor, and MP Duncan, when we interacted with the vendors, they told us that the PPP simply wanted them off the streets, but has not proposed any place where they must go. This is the problem, a demonstration of a complete lack of commitment to a unified Guyana, a complete lack of commitment to put in place a plan, any plan, that will uplift the people and lift them up and provide them with an opportunity to continue to ply their trade and thrive. The vendors issue, and I want you to always remember this, that the vendors issue is an issue about justice. It's an issue about humanity, and it's an issue about equality. And as I speak not only of the vendors in Georgetown, but of all the vendors around there, the time is now to bring an end to the mistreatment of every citizen, regardless of who they are and where they are. The time is now to create a national policy that recognizes and treats all Guyanese as equally important. This is a society created by the founders that must be governed by universal laws, a society whose people must aspire under the motto of one people, one nation, and one destiny. But nevertheless, especially under this government, there remains pervasive social, economic, and political inequalities. We, the people of this country, must stand up and we must move beyond paying lip service to these values and make these aspirations real. According to a recent World Bank report, approximately half of this society lives in poverty. The data also suggests that many of our children go to school without a meal, and many do not go to school at all because their parents simply cannot afford to put a meal on their tables. In this, which is now being brought to be the world's fastest growing economy, many Guyanese are simply going through challenging economic circumstances, where we are living in two societies, where the gap between the haves and the have-nots is ever widening. Some are beginning to feel that they're doomed to a life of poverty, and there's only a few in Guyana, and the resource predators who are reaping the bounty of this dear land. In this beloved land of Guyana, many are made to feel that they are unwanted, and they do not belong. It is beginning to feel like the experiences of other countries, where we know the great Calypso, Jack doesn't want us to bathe in our beach. Jack wants to kick us out of reach. But we in Guyana, we must tell this government that that can't happen here, because every square inch of this country belongs to all of us, and we must be allowed to exercise the freedom to traverse it, to develop it, and to reap its bounty. Our resources cannot serve others and not serve us. I want us to say it together. Our resources cannot serve others and not serve us. Thank you. And whilst we will not be opposed to sharing our wealth with investors and developers, it must not be the disadvantage of our dear country. It must not be the disadvantage of our people, the majority of whom are either living in poverty or scraping just above the poverty line. We want development that is sustainable, where every Guyanese can be involved and benefit from it, whether directly or indirectly through jobs, healthcare, education, and other facilities. This is 2023. And in 2023, we're still fighting to have this government, the People's Progressive Party's government, to provide and to maintain free education from nursery to university. You heard Elder Green speak of the importance of education as one of the founding principles of our political party. And now we must have accessible quality health care. These are principles, these are rights which are enshrined in the 1980 Constitution provided to us, thankfully, by Mr. Forbes Burnham and his government, who saw the wisdom of doing it at that time when we didn't have much access to many of the riches that we now have as a country. As a society, we are failing to recognize the duty vendors. As lonely as many may seem or feel that you are, we fail to recognize the feasibility in the area of your chosen economic activities, for which is the only means of viability and the only means of providing a source of income for your families. Removing you willy-nilly without a proper program and putting them in areas where they can apply their products will not only lead to suffering and dissatisfaction, but eventually result in their migration from these areas. Vendors know where best to meet their customers and patrons, and the governments are moving them from one place to another. For example, like the Donkey City, even if it's well intended, it clearly demonstrates a misunderstanding of what works best for you, what works best for the vending industry. This highlights the necessity for the interaction with the affected rather than a top-down approach to authority. We need to look at the vending issue through developmental lens and to provide much needed support to advance their entrepreneurial interests and not to hung them off the streets. Vendors are providing for households and building on their own small ingenuity and their own small resources. Their independence and willingness to eke out a decent living should be applauded, encouraged, and not crushed. We need to create the environment for all to thrive. Instead, the People's Progressive Party continues blatant discrimination, acts of discrimination, like even against the local government in terms of its laws, anti-democratic moves, undermining the law that allows the local authorities to manage vending and to work with affected constituents on developing a plan that will ensure that you, the entrepreneurial class, thrives and by extension be able to take care of your family. Where other societies value you and your entrepreneurial skills for the service that you provide, and leaders will collaborate and work with you to make your trade and environment a successful experience. In Guyana, because of the insensitive and uncaring PPP government, they continue to bypass the local government to snuff the life out of this business, bringing social and economic pains to you, whilst depriving the users of your services. Vendors live in constant fear that they will not be able to provide for their families, especially when the government is not providing for them or creating opportunities. Not everyone is oriented to employment, and our school system should be geared to support this. Vending is a part of the human culture and customs, and long before even Guyana was founded. Today, we are here to show solidarity with you, to amplify your stories, and to partner with you in developing a course of action for change. This is not about race, religion, and party politics. It's about the people who are subjected to the constant harassment and discrimination and the fear of not knowing when again you will be targeted. This PPP government is acting without care, compassion, or interest in ensuring economic equity. Their brazen behavior and unconscionable disrespect for you and the law seems to continue. The political parties will do their work, but you, the people, you don't have to wait on the political parties. We will be the people of this country, do not have to be dependent on the political party. We need to form organizations for action and development. And in this regard, I applaud the Institute for Action Against Discrimination for facilitating these conversations, which will bring our people together on issues that transcend race. All races face the same need to provide for their families and to sustain their families. Guyanese have got to learn to come together on the issues, and the masses are always stronger when they stand together. June 12th is local government elections. We must all vote. Our vote is our voice in action. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Roysdale. That was the last presentation, but before we take our leave, I will ask Eon to come and just manage this session. It's just for about 5 to 10 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. If you have any issue to raise, we will take them, or any concern. We just want to ensure that you leave here and you're clear about what we are doing.
Steve Gordon, he needs to know there are persons who have problems. All of us have problems. But it's a sad thing when you can have these problems and stay quiet. Let us know so we can collectively deal with them the best way we can. So are there any concerns to persons in this? Yes. Yeah.
Good night, everyone. I would
Well,
like
camera,
to...
the camera. Yeah. No, you could come here now.
Yes, good night, everyone, to the past mayor and former Prime Minister, Mr. Hamilton Green, and to the mayor who is with us. I would like to take this opportunity to clear up to all the Indians in Guyana. When I made a statement at the speech a few weeks back, I am Roger Lane, a few weeks back, many persons took it the wrong way. But Mayor Yuvraj Narayan, I know you are very vocal along with a few other members of your ethnicity, but I was not speaking anything defaming to the Indian ethnicity in Guyana. I simply said that they should go into their history, and seeing that the 5th of May is Indian Arrival Day, I hope, not feeling any way bad, that you could go into your history. We, the Africans in the Western Hemisphere, we have a sordid history, and we have accepted our history. We don't care what is being said about us. We are fair, and I was not putting you guys down in any way. But when I did that speech, I was talking about these vendors who are being treated in this way. And we have got to study. If you don't know, that when you have people and you plunge them below a poverty line, where the emphasis now is on human parts, body parts being harvested. And if you are below the poverty line, if you check it out in those places like India and China, they take those people who are below the poverty line and their body parts are being sold off. So now with this thing that this installed regime is trying to push on the people of Guyana, looking to put everybody down the poverty line, we have got to fight back. And to all the Indians in Guyana who feel offended, but what I said, I think it was on the 9th of March last month, I am not bringing you down. It's just your history. So please don't bash me anymore. Mayor Narayan, you're here. You met me today for the 4th, because when the matter was on at the court, I was out there with you. I was a person who held your hand, walked with you from the court till to yes, down hall. I am not a vendor. I live at Denham still. But I left my work. I left my household chores just to come and give you the strength. And I don't hate you. I love you guys. I have Indian friends. I had to so close. I had to so close to Maro, up on Maro wedding. When the friend started going and dig dirty with the hoe, I was the body who carried the hoe. Because I wanted to know did the digging up all the mud. So I am with you. So please do not bash me.
Yes, comrade. When does it still?
One of the things, Mr. Andrews, I would like to, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things I would like to emphasize is that I am really grateful for this support here as the PRO for the vendors union. Please put your hands together for yourself. You know, the reason why I said this is because in many instances, when we have vendors having issues, we don't find we getting this support, especially when it comes to the mayor being arrested. I was very much shocked and surprised at the turnout of many vendors whom he is representing. And we have to be real. We have to be real as people. Tomorrow schools reopen, and we know for a fact that it's not easy. I have 3 children going to school, and it costs me $7,000 every single day. And you vendors here can testify to the fact it's not easy on none of us. But we need to support when the call is being made. We need to do it. Let me say this as well. Labor Day. You see the turnout here? I am so happy. I encourage you to wear your orange and black. Let the world see vendors, that vendors have a voice. Chase Green didn't accept us. The bully by Stone King did not accept us. But this young man, Mr. U.S. Lorraine, he accepted us. So we need to stand together. I told them boldly. I said beside Mr. Hamilton Green, the only man who cares for us is Mr. U.S. Lorraine. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together one more time. Please, people.
You have not.
You mentioned the prostitute.
It's after the PRO as well. But then again, I like how y'all just singularly, y'all know union there, you know. Not we all know union. No, let me tell you why I say that. When things happen by the hospital, persons by the market, people in Wall Street said they ain't got no time card they are right. They're not coming to them. Go by the hospital, the same thing happened. And other people went and support. You know, now there's a form that you can collect. Well, my vice president, who I need to mention a character, the person who was instrumental, along with me in forming this union and Debbie Barrow and others, you know, they would have got about and they went out in markets, the penitence out. You would be surprised to know the size of this union on paper. But they want to remember when something happens to them. A lot of them, hundreds of members. Yeah, come Douglas, come. Did I answer? Just
Good evening, everyone. Respect and gratitude to the organizers and all our speakers, and mostly our elder, Comrade Hamilton Green, who has always represented us. I think he was the first mayor to set the pattern of how a mayor should deal with the vending issue and the vendors. I only have 2 things to say, I think 3, but I remember 2 now. And I'll be very quick about it. It is heartrending to see that the new trend now to replace vendors is to upgrade your store and then have the vendors not return. I didn't think I would see Chinese national come to Guyana, build a very large store, and then no vending in front of it, none whatsoever. And no one seemed to notice it, but it is happening. I saw with my eyes when the Chinese came out and chased away the vendors on the first when they opened. It's not something I'm making up. So the new trend is to replace these vendors. You do up the stores. And in most cases, these business people from the private sector, that got all this money, still occupy in front of the storeroom that they build, but vendors cannot return.
And then the middle pay too.
The other part is this. This oil economy, this one Guyana, What a farce. Imagine, in the heart of Georgetown, the capital of this country, right in the center. You know we discover oil there? The sewage is bubbling over black just like the oil. And it stinks. It's unhealthy. Now, I am not so intelligent to know who really should be responsible. But right now, it is so out of hand that the vendors took upon themselves to take pallets and build a fence around it so we have a second set it off. Right in Guyana, Georgetown, right at our Regent and King Street. If you don't know, you can invite anybody from any part in the world to come and see it. We have oil coming up there in our city, right in the middle here. The only problem with this one is that this one can kill us all. If we should learn one thing from the COVID virus, it started, wherever it started, the Americans said, is Wuhan. Wuhan, Chinese people say, is in America. Wherever it started, it affected the world without discrimination. It even affected kings and queens and presidents and prime ministers, everybody, generals. So suppose a virus starts there. Who will be first in line? And eventually, it will be the entire world. There are so many things, but I thank you. I know you're tired and we need to get home.
Thank you very much. I want to respond to this gentleman's comments on the sewage. Sewage issue is dealt by GWI. Yeah, GWI was made. We made contact with GWI, but the CEO they have there, Mr. Sheikh Baksh, has no interest to have a modern sewage system in the city. Right? He has no interest to have a modern system. So the city did make that report, and we still await. I believe it's over 2 months now. Still await on GWI and CEO and his team to look after that sewage issue right at Bank of Baroda there. Right? It is terrible. So I call on the CEO on GWI, Sheikh Baksh, please do your work. We need a modern sewage system in the city. The government, we have the money. Let us give the people in the city what belongs to them.
Thank you, Mayor. The youngster in front here, the teenager in front here, you say you want to know how you can join the union. Which area you operate from? Stabro. How you want to know, man? Oh, you come in the evening, but you go a store, you have to carry Carter store. I will ensure that we have another executive there, Dr. Shield. Look at you, you are, you know, Mr. Hicks, as long as you need it, we know how to get to you. We are representing different places.
Okay, people, thank you for coming. It was a pleasure having you here this evening. See you. You know, if we are truly patriotic, we have one more task. Let's just stand and sing the last stanza of the national anthem. We are patriots. Come on, please stand. Ian, lead us in the last stanza of the national anthem. I know you're a very good singer. Dear land of Guyana.
So the last stanza you will be there.
Let's start over the last stanza. Dear land of Guyana, so you give our own gracious service each day that we live. God guide you, great mother, and make us to be worthy of heritage Thank you. Pleasure to have you here. Tell somebody you love them before you leave, man.
Not bad, right? What do you guys say? Good evening to all of you. Um, it's not bad, not a bad evening, not a bad session, but they have some debad people. Debad people. Just imagine that this event was basically to talk directly with, not talk to them, but with them, the vendors. And these are the speakers. This organization was formed to highlight discrimination throughout the country. And they have been doing just that. Kudos to these guys. Lincoln Lewis, Ubraj Narayan, Mr. Ramsarup, Roysdale Ford, and the whole crew. Leland Saul and others. Congrats to them and what they have been doing. So lo and behold, this is the sort of mediocrity. This is sort of nonsense that happens. And when you have idiotic individuals who pop out of a hole from God in heaven knows where, and now pretending that they understand politics and they know and they are with the people and all manner of crap, somebody's got to hit sense into their head. Just prior to the people being there to talk about the vendors' issues, it's nothing new. Lincoln Lewis is not new to talking about vendors' issues. Those other speakers are not new to talking about vendors' issues. But lo and behold, just before the event started, you got some guy named Matthews gone live talking about this is a political group and it is this. So what even if it's a political group? Is it a crime? See, that's the problem with some of these guys. That's the problem with some of these guys. A bunch of political numbskulls jump up. They want some right and they want pretend as though they care about the people. All because they've been promised some position. They're going to be run as a counselor on the PNC ticket. Sometimes it's the biggest mistake. Some of these guys are pretending that they care about the people. Y'all got to be careful with some of these folks. Now, why would this group of individuals want to contest? And here's the stupidity. Contest the local government elections when you've already to submit your party list and all these sort of things. The day is over for that. Tomorrow is nomination day. They can't just pop up now and say it's nomination day, they're going to walk up there. First of all, they have not registered a party. First of all, they have no symbol. They have nothing. So how the heck could this be a political party to contest the local government elections? It makes no goddamn sense. And who the hell are these people, man? Who are these so-called individuals who pop up from God in heaven knows where they pop up from, calling themselves doctors and all kind of nonsense? We don't need this sort of stupidity. We just don't need this sort of stupidity. That is what it is. Stupidity, downright stupidity and ignorance. Some of these guys have no credibility. I hope Aubrey Norton don't put some of these guys as no counselors and them nonsense because Georgetown is not going to move forward. A bunch of ignoramus just pop out of some hole and as though they understand politics and they believe in you and they're fighting for Europe. Give me a break. Give me a damn break. So anyways, congratulations to these guys. They were there. They presented their case pretty well. And, we just got to say thank you and kudos to them. Thank you to Lincoln Lewis, Roysdale Ford, Ubraj Narayan, Mr. Ricky Ramsarup, a bunch of individuals who were there. Great job. And even, look, to expose the stupidity of some of these individuals who are now barking about, this group is a political group to contest the local government elections, as though political groups are a crime. It's a crime, right? What these guys should be focusing on, they don't focus on. Some of them just want to brainwash the people. Some of them want to do that. Some of them don't even have the credibility in doing so. Some of them, all they think about is the money, money, money. How they can call up people for money, 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 money. That's all it is to some of these folks. All sorts of Jim Cogbring Rambo title are giving themselves, from doctor to this to that. Look, enough of those nincompoops. Enough of them. Stupid bunch of people. Some of them, dotish bunch of people. Francine, I agree with you. For those ignoramus individuals who don't think, but they want to jump out and say they're representing the people, they're PNC, they're this and that. Sometimes they don't even know who they are or what they're about. They don't even make sense. And I agree with you, Francine. Give those idiotic individuals. But doctor, them is doctor. They didn't even got PhD. They didn't even get D, much less P and H. But doctor. I'll think is the trench crappers alone as get a donkey. Some of them just get the donkeys to give back Matthews or whatever he call himself, doctor. Not to my head. Goddamn break. Remove that doctor. Who gone to PhD? You didn't even get PhD, but doctor. Give him back another donkey. Okay, Sunday. Seriously, it's Sunday and I feel sorry for the donkey. Give him another donkey. I'm tempted to give them another donkey again, but donkey is tired. I don't want people to accuse me of cruelty to animal cruelty and these sort of things. So anyways, forget about the idiotic individuals. At least the group is together. I don't know of any independent group that is running, and nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong if you have an independent group that is running. Nothing is wrong. It's not a crime for that. But when you spread these stupid propaganda and nonsense and all because something just float off the top of your head, I hope Aubrey Norton, the leader of the opposition, will be wise in choosing proper councillors, decent mayors this time around, whether it's Linden, whether it's Georgetown, whether it's New Amsterdam, whether it's Corriverton, whether it's Rose Hall, whether it's Bartica, whether it's Letham. Choose sensible people. Choose people who are fighters for the people. Those are the individuals that you got to choose. For Georgetown Mayor, Obraj Narayan says he's not going to put himself up to be selected because, as you guys know, the people don't elect the mayors. They're selected. And I hope folks like Trevor Benn, who was able to turn the Lands and Survey around and did a great job, far more than what the PPP did for the 23 years they've been there. Look at what Trevor Benn did to the Public Service Union. Turn everything around, positive, on behalf of the people. That is it. That is it. So people like Trevor Benn, I want to see as a councillor or even the next mayor of Georgetown. That's just my take. There might be others, yes. But not any little fishing wing individual. You just grab them. You know what I mean when I say them fishing wing individuals. You can't expect people with fishing wing mentality to represent your interest. Aubrey, fishing wing have a role to play. But you can't put fishing wing Pishing Weng Weng. That's a nice name for some of them. Pishing Weng Weng. But look, things are looking good because the people are fed up of the PPP. And the people in New Amsterdam, despite they get a couple of soup drinkers there, PNC soup drinkers, forget about them. The PPP cannot take control of New Amsterdam. And so all of you, and I have a lot of listeners here from New Amsterdam, call up your folks, call up your people, call up everyone, and let them go out in their numbers and vote against the PPP. Mark my word. Vote against the PPP. And if you're voting for a group, if you're voting for because I'm not sure that there's APNU, right? It's probably PNC. If you're voting, then go right out and vote for a party that has your best interest at heart. Or if there's a group that you believe, and that group has your best interest at heart, go right ahead. But do not support, do not vote for the PPP. Do not vote for the PPP. Whether it's Georgetown, whether it's Linden, wherever it is, vote against the PPP. Look who is, you get people who defraud the city, the country, taxes, and all manner of stuff. Folks who are on the wanted list of US law enforcement agencies are putting themselves up. I don't know. Don't worry with those pishing Weng Weng people. The pishing Weng Weng people feel that because they are part and they might get a microphone and they send this and that, people got to send money, people got to look after them. That's not, activists do not do that. Of course, at times you may say, hey, contribute to the cause. But you can't force people to do that. You can't want to beat up on people to do that with a little pension money and all kind of thing and demand that people send money for you and people got to do this and people got... Those are the pishing Weng Weng individuals. You got to be careful. You don't want the pishing Weng Weng people them to tell you, the pishing Weng Weng people who have no credibility to tell you and stand up and try to disrespect these individuals. You cannot have the pishing Weng Weng people do that. Shame on those pishing Weng Weng. Pishing Weng Weng Weng. Pishing Weng Weng Weng. Just imagine, we need fighters in the city, man. We need fighters in Linden. Because the council right now and the mayor right now in Linden is like, everybody gone dead. You don't hear nothing from anybody there. We need fighters, real fighters, not fence sitters. So again, Mr. Aubrey Norton, be very careful with whom you choose to be councillors. And the councillors now are going to sit around the horseshoe table to vote the next mayor of Linden. Be careful with who the next install, because that's what they do. They don't elect mayors. They select the mayors and install them. Be careful who is going to be the next mayor of Georgetown. And that is why I'm saying folks like Trevor Benn, they have a big role to play. And just imagine what a Trevor Benn would be like for mayor of Georgetown. Just imagine. There are others who can play a very, very important role. But I'm just, if I have my way, I'll give that nod to Trevor Benn. And we find a nice, hardworking deputy mayor. Hardworking deputy mayor. Now, you can't run around the place and grab any pishing Weng Weng people and put them there. Now, let's see what Francine been going on today. Francine says, do not vote for the AFC rattlesnake. They are the ones that got us in. Francine, the AFC is out of the local government elections. They said they're not contesting. And that is why it's important to go out and to deny the PPP any mayorship in any one of those towns. They might get Corriverton, but even in Corriverton, they're on the ropes. Even in Corriverton, thanks to guys like Sunil Sugrim, Pastor Sunil Sugrim, he's a counselor for the PNCR out there in Corriverton. I want to see guys like Pastor Sugrim as the next mayor of Corriverton. Fight that fight, guys. Ensure then that people are going to be elected. The councillors are people who will have your best interest at heart, and that they will sit among themselves around the horseshoe table and to ensure that a proper person is voted in as the next mayor of Georgetown. Not no pishing wing wing. Pishing wing wing wing. Forget about these emotional guys. They just right off the top of their head, they run out and they say a bunch of silly things, dotish things. I might as well look. I might as well just ask you guys to call me Dr. Mark Benshaw. Dr. Mark Benshaw. Everybody else want to be called doctor, whether they're qualified to be called doctor. Some of them aren't even close to being qualified to be addressed as doctor. Give me a break, man. What else you guys want us to talk about quickly before I go? Anything quickly? Charlene, London, I believe you're talking about London and not the Pope. But you're talking about Nigel, Apostle Nigel London. He's not part of any group. He doesn't have any independent group running for the mayorship or council in Linden, unless he's to be a councillor for the PNCR. And then he can be selected as the next mayor of Linden. I think that's a good choice. But he has already said no, and that's it. He's already said no. But at the end of the day, we need fighters, not hustlers, not 2 cents gangsters who want to just become councillor and all these manner of things. And some of them even want to become mayor. And then when they get in there, they sit on the fence. No, people need fighters in these positions. All right. So Victor Ben is talking about the long line at the passport office. Every time the PPP is back, those are the things that happen. People in long lines. Everywhere, long lines. You get long lines at the passport office. You get long lines at the airport. People want to leave. You get long lines at the post office because they don't have enough money to pay. Madhya post office, same thing. Other post office, same thing. The post office up in Linden, all manner of things. And just imagine, in these modern days, you get people from Kokwani, pensioners from Kokwani, got jump on the boat, jump on the bus, and head to Linden to collect their pension. At least you got to give the coalition credit. They got a passport office now in Lethem, a passport office in Linden, I believe, passport office in Borbice, thanks to the coalition. For 23 plus years, the PPP couldn't have done that. They didn't have the vision to do these sort of things. Just like the Pishing Weng, some of the Pishing Weng in the coalition who jumping up talking dotishness, you know who they are, right? Dr. Pishing Weng. They get a lot of Pishing Weng mentality in the PPP as well. Ignore them. They can't. They might have started to or attempting to rig whatever is happening in GCOM, but they can't beat the PNC or even if it's a combination of parties and so forth. They can't beat them in Georgetown. They can't beat them in New Amsterdam. They can't beat them in Linden. They can't. Well, I hope the PPP supporters go out and vote for any other party other than the PPP in Rose Hall and in Corriverton and in Bartik as well. Just vote the PPP out. Hey, come June 12th, urge your people then to go and vote. It is important for the opposition to maintain the townships. Go out in your numbers. Let this be a vote that you register against the PPP. Right now they're attempting to buy votes. That's what they're doing. They're attempting to buy votes. They catch a couple of individuals from Linden, 1 and 2 of them, who can't do nothing, who can't convince people. They don't have what it takes to convince people to vote. Not at all. They just can't do that. In New Amsterdam, they might grab 1 and 2 crappos from the opposition. Sorry, I say crappos. Right? But they can't convince people. They just can't convince people to vote. The PPP, my friends, the PPP is in trouble. The PPP, I repeat, the PPP is in trouble. And just imagine they're panicking right now, and it's just the local government elections. Just imagine if the opposition get the goddamn act together how much the PPP will be trembling moving into the next general and regional elections. They are in trouble. They are in trouble. Sorry, I sound like Desmond Hoyt, former president, the late Desmond Hoyt. They are in trouble. They are in trouble, comrades. They are in trouble. The PPP is in trouble. Why you think every minute Tanti Moral Jagde wants to hold a press conference? And y'all don't hear from Irfan, you know. Y'all don't hear from Irfan. The PPP is in trouble. The PPP, repeat, the PPP is in trouble. So call your friends and let them. I've noticed the WPA doesn't really contest. They never contested local government elections. So I don't know where they jump in on a mountain top. Don't vote, don't this, don't. A bunch of scattery kind of politicians, you know. Don't vote, don't do this, don't do that. It's Sunday, huh? It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Brenda, how are you guys doing? Bantu King Bantu King wants everybody to be run for president. Everybody, whoever Bantu King is a serious lion, you know. Everybody. And look, Unruly Pat. Let's see what Unruly Pat is saying here. Hey, Pat, how are you? Thanks for being unruly. The revenue collectors at City Hall need to flex with vendors. Things tight. Of course. It's the PPP in office. Things got back tight, real tight. Because the PPP wants to control. The PPP wants to control all of the township. They want to make the people of Georgetown slaves. They want to make the people of Linden slaves. The people of New Amsterdam slaves. So, good question. They should flex a little bit. Things tight. But they don't want to flex in you guys, the vendors, because they don't care about you guys, the vendors. Sorry, I'm sounding like Henry Jeffrey, Dr. Henry Jeffrey. A real doctor, mind you, Dr. Henry Jeffrey. Things real tight. Things real tight. They don't. But they prefer to give hundreds of millions to their friends and cronies in the private sector commission. And they're running the vendors down. They're running the poor vendors down for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And they're giving away their friends and their cronies. Yep, sorry about that. And now, yeah, one family brought in some big fancy Ferrari. And the question is, under some remigrant scheme and all manner of state, an investigation should be launched into that. Whether the friends and cronies of Irfan Ali and Barak Jagdi are allowed to bring in these fancy cars and are not, allegedly, are not paying their fair share of duties. The small man and women like Unruly Pat is asking for vendors to get a little squeeze, a little relaxation when it comes to the vendors and their fees and so forth. They should. I agree with you, Unruly Pat. Now let's see what Aliyah has. What's Aliyah's situation? Hi, Aliyah. How are you? Yeah, let's see what Aliyah is talking. Aliyah said, this is the most silent I've seen the PNC around the election season. We are making noise. We are the ones who are making noise for the opposition. You guys are the good noise makers. We are the ones who are making noise as well. But you guys are the good noise makers. And congratulations to you guys. You guys, we collectively, we are the opposition. You're hardly hearing from the 30-something, 31 MPs. Well, we're hearing from a couple of them. Kudos to those we are hearing from. We heard from Ramstroop this evening. We heard from Roysdale Ford, and we have been hearing from a few others as well.
Dad, can you help me put the TV saucer in my bag? It broke out. I was trying to put my iPad out, and then I was trying to put it in the table, and then the TV saucer pulled out. Can you help?
The TV. All right, give me 1 second. Let me wrap up, and I got it for you, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Close the door for me, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah, that's my boss. And so the question here that Aliyah is asking again, what are PNC's plans for local government? I don't know. I don't know. But forget about what their plans are. Forget about it. I'm not saying that we should forget about it. I get your point that we got to know what these plans are for. We got to know what these plans are. Nothing should be done. Not everything should be done in silence, silence, and silence. Tell the people. Don't come up with some pishing wang candidates for council and these pishing wang and even know what they're up to. You know who the pishing wang people are, right? You will see some of them, and some of them are a disappointment. We see the scatterhead ones them already. We see how irrational some of them are, jumping out and accusing this group tonight, a group that is going out there talking on behalf of vendors and urging people to go out, this same group, urging people to go out and vote for APNU, PNC. They're urging people to go out and vote. But yet a pishing wang individual with some data in front of his name is saying that this group is a political group and they want to contest the local government elections. You see these people, some of them are so backward. Some of them are 10 times worse than trench crappos. Worse than trench crappos. All because these guys in this Institute for Action Against Discrimination is heading into Georgetown, and they get vexed. Combating discrimination and oppression, the vendors issue. What is wrong with that? Why should that idiotic person, Gavin Matthews, try to say that, people must not go to the meet, that these guys are forming a political, what kind of, man? Where is Francine when you need her? Where is Francine? What sort of people Aubrey Norton is surrounded by? Not all, but we take a look at some of them, right? Oh, Father. God in heaven knows, man. But good job tonight, guys. Lincoln Lewis, Roysdale Ford, Ubraj Narain, Simpson De Silva, Leland Saul, and Ricky Ramstroop, and Mr. Andrews, and so forth. Great job this evening. Great job. You had those guys who are fighters, and a little pishing wang individual is going to try to be disrespectful. Some of these guys just pop on the scene the other day and feel that they know it all. They're this and they're that. Some of them, after 1 week, they don't get a PhD. I might as well get my PhD in 2 days too. All right, guys, appreciate you. It's Friday. It's Sunday evening, right? I got to get out of here. You heard? My boss wants to see me. So I'm out of here. You guys continue. Great job. And again, congratulations. Congratulations to these guys. Congratulations to them. Job well done. Congratulations to them. Those guys did a great job. Lincoln Lewis and others, congrats. Roysdale Ford, lovely speech. Ubraj Narain, lovely speech, and all of the others as well. And to all of you, thank you for entertaining us this evening. Have a great rest of the night. God bless you all. See you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. This is Dr. Ben Sharp. I'm just kidding. I think that for people to address themselves as doctors, they got to earn that. They got to earn it. They got to work hard for it. It's not a mockery. It's just not a mockery. But for some of them, it's a mockery, right? I got to go, man. I know you guys want me to stay, but I got to go. So long.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.